Okay, so today I want to talk about Nana envy in the Black community. All right, so for those of you who do not know what Nana envy is, quite simply put, it is the jealousy that a woman receives when a woman who she perceives to be of higher sexual marketplace value enters her circle somehow. Whether it's a digital circle, whether it's a personal circle, or whether it's like an academic or work circle. Whenever you are a woman and you are very attuned to what your sexual marketplace value is. Perhaps not in the global market, but in the local market in this particular area. Now, whether you're for sale, meaning whether you're open or available to men or not, women still want to feel as if they have the a reasonably high sexual marketplace value. Now, one woman in a global market is or a very large market really doesn't make a difference. For example, if your mating pool is like all the guys of Tinder within, a certain radius, and your competition is all the girls in Tinder, one new girl amongst thousands is not really going to make a difference. However, if one of them enters the vicinity of, say, a YouTube group or a chat room, Discord server, what have you, then there's problems. Um, let's just use church, for example, right? Let's just say you have a certain church in a small town. Let's say a small South Carolina town, right? Shout out to DJ Pope. And you have everybody has become comfortable with their place in the sexual marketplace. You know who's the most attractive female, who's who has the highest nana value in the church, and who has to, wear her dress a little bit shorter to get noticed. So that becomes apparent. Now, say somebody from out of town, say you get, a San Diego Valley girl and she just walks into that South Kakalaki church and she is well above average looking and she is single. The reaction that you'll get from the women of the church is unfavorable. It's ill favored. They just don't like her. Now, to the men, especially the ones who are not really looking, the ones who are married or, just simply not interested in pursuing any new person, they might be confused as to why this is happening. But for those who in the know, this is a simple case of jealousy, also not envy. Now, it's easy to just write this off as, okay, this is something that happens from time to time, and this is a woman's problem. This is not really a man's problem. Everybody feels self-conscious when greater competition enters the room. If you're applying for a job and somebody walks in with a MIT tie on, you would probably feel a little intimidated if you didn't go to MIT. So I get it. I get that. There's nothing really, wrong with that on the surface. However, the title of this video is how it affects the Black community. Now, the Black American community is the most matriarchal community in the world that I'm aware of. Now, what does that mean? It means that the women have a greater influence on the behavior and the leadership structure of men than in any other community. Now, let's take it back to the church, for example, right? In the church, typically, you have a male pastor and things like that, dot, 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 dot. However, in the Black community, there's a rise of female pastors, even though the Bible speaks against such things, but that's here nor there. I'm not going to get into that. But there's a rise of female pastors, right? And she, whether she's married or otherwise, She's going to feel that Nana envy when that girl from San Diego, California starts walking into the South Kakalaki church. And then she is not only influencing the women to hate her, she is also influencing or attempting to influence the men to be less interested in her. You know, throwing out stuff like, you know, the Lord told me to stay away from the Jezebels in the yellow dress in the second pew, third from the right. You need to stay away from the harlots, the deceivers, the blah, 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 because they bring temptation. And temptation is the destruction of man. It is the path to hell. It is. It is the path to hell. That yellow dress, woman over there. They just drop shit like that from time to time. And that has really three effects, or attempted effects. One, to shame the men for being interested. Two, discourage the women from allowing them into any circles of prominence, even though she didn't do anything. She just wore a yellow dress, but she would have said that no matter what dress she wore. Wait, which one did I say? I said one, discourage the man from being one. Two, discourage the women. Oh, and three, discourage her from coming back to that church. That is the attempt here. That is what the pastor was looking to do. And that is what happens when you find yourself in a situation where women are in unchecked leadership positions. Like it's okay if she was, head in the choir, and maybe even if the pastor, let her speak a little bit while he censors and monitors her behavior. But if she has a church all to herself, then it's going to be all kind of nana envy projected on the congregation. Imagine a situation where a woman has an audience of 100 men and she is telling them how to treat other women. What do you think that that would sound like, fellas? Do you think that that some of this nana envy that most every woman has, even a 9.2 will, feel it when a 9.3 walks into a room. Every woman has it. I remember an episode of Married with Children where Kelly, who is the hot girl of the school, played by Christina Applegate, a younger Christina Applegate, and they had a foreign exchange student, and she was like, I don't know how to get guys, and Kelly just took off her jacket, and then all the guys just, just lined up and surrounded her, and she said, "See, it's easy." And then the foreign exchange student was like, "Okay, I'll give it a try." And then she took off her shit, her coat, and with an even sluttier outfit, and then the guys just threw Kelly to the side and went after her. That's Nana envy. Now, what if Kelly was to get an audience of 100 guys, right? And she starts spewing stuff like, oh yeah, these foreign women are so foreign. They come to America, they take your jobs. Do not trust the international demon. Do not trust the women from abroad. Never get abroad from abroad. That's what it would sound like. And that's what many of the women in Black America sound like. Don't get it twisted, fellas. It's all Nana envy. The only reason why it's more pronounced in our community than any other one is because they actually have some say so. They have more say so in this community than they do any others. And Asian women won't get up and have like 100, Japanese men just listen to her and tell them what to and not to look for in a woman and how to treat certain women. That just doesn't happen, especially unchecked. They may be allowed to speak on the behalf or under the umbrella of a man, but not on their own venue where they're just giving like a TED talk to, a group of guys saying like this is what you should look for. You should look for a modern Western type woman because, stuff. Doesn't happen. You don't really see colorism arguments done on any other group. Now, colorism exists, don't get me wrong. It exists here, it exists there, it exists everywhere. It even exists amongst white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. I know, shocker, right? But yes, they do have words like pale and you need to be tanned. It's more reversed there, obviously, but they do have words like that. They do call each other ghost and clear, and they do have pejoratives for people of ill-favored hues. It's in India, it's in the Philippines, it's a lot of places. However, what you don't see in any of these other communities is the less favored group trying to tell the men what to look for. Because the truth of the matter is, they simply don't have that authority. And they recognize that. Here in the black community, even women who claim to be submissive will still not only claim that type of authority, but also attempt to use it to influence men or discourage men from being attracted to what they are attracted to. Remember, fellas, no one dictate what your dick takes. Whenever you hear a woman, whether it's your mother, sister, aunties, or whomever, suggest something to you about what criteria should you be looking for in a woman, what you must then do is ask an uncompromised man. For example, if your mother is a big woman and she says something like, stay away from them skinny gals that treat you wrong, them skinny gals are no good for you, then ask a guy, an uncompromised guy. He doesn't even have to be black because a lot of black men are compromised. Ask him, hey, do you know the difference in treatment between skinny girls and fat girls? Like, yeah, fat girls will treat you wrong and eat all your food, and skinny girls will treat you wrong. Ask around. Question everything and question the ulterior motives of the person. Remember, um, sexual marketplace value is the most important thing to a woman. Even when they have a high one, and even when they're not on the sexual marketplace itself, and even when they don't make an effort to do it, what they're doing is they're gauging their effortless value. I'll probably make a separate video on that. They're gauging their I woke up like this. They're gauging their base value. You know how when some cars come fully loaded and some cars come, with nothing, not even power windows or anything like that, they're testing the market for their base value, is what they're doing. but always in the back of a woman's mind is, at every age, what is my sexual marketplace value? Stay away from the nana envies, fellas. Do not let a woman try to suggest directly or indirectly who you should be with, who you should give a certain type of attention to, who you're giving too much attention to. Never allow them to influence how you treat other women. This is Game Changer 00100. Game over. Peace.